I just dropped the hook in about 30 feet of water between 3 reefs on this super cool deserted island that's just off the coast of Beckway. That's Beckway right there, and then there's a little gap between the 2 islands, and then this island, and you kind of can't really tell, but there's a sort of right there, there's the gap, and then the next island is behind it. No one lives on this island. There's a little pier, there's some palm trees, some shell beach, and a whole lot of reef, and just me in my boat, nothing else all around me. I'm so stoked about this. I'm gonna be here for the next day and a half, just sort of being a hermit, going ashore, watching the stars without any light pollution, and probably just doing a lot of weird things that no one can see. Oh, it's paradise. I hope that I'm gonna be able to get up to the top of that mountain over there. I've also heard that the snorkeling is amazing around, well, there's a lot of reef. For example, you can't see it, but there's some right there. The way I came in here, since there is a lot of reef to avoid, some of it's on the chart, some of it's not, but it's pretty obvious where it is I put my boat on track mode, and I did these big circles as close as I was comfortable with my boat going towards the shore. And then I found the center of them. I figured out how much scope I was gonna put out and aimed to roughly put my boat right there. There's a funky wind current situation going on here, and I wasn't sure. The current is pushing my boat towards the shore, and the wind is pushing it kind of away from the shore, so it's compromising and going this way, but I didn't know what was gonna happen when the tide changes or overnight, so I figured I'd play it safe. I have to put away my sails, and then I'm gonna dive my anchor, make sure that it's all securely in, launch the dinghy, and row ashore and poke around a little bit. It's already 4 o'clock. I have a couple more hours of daylight, so I'll probably explore the island, and then tomorrow I'm thinking snorkeling, maybe try to hike a little bit. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Trying to find a place to land. There's not really anywhere great. I'm thinking maybe that rock looks like an old launching ramp. Might just pull myself up. Okay, we're here. This is beautiful. There's a trail that goes up. I wonder if it goes up the headland. I really want to get to that beach. I'm gonna see where this goes though. It looks like an old road. I think this must have been a military base at some point or something. Oh, birds. Okay, note to self, these are coconut palms. Do not stand under them. I see a lot of coconuts on the ground.
I can't get enough of, I can't get enough of, can't get enough of you. You showed me the garden, that's where it started. I just fell for you. Just like you're out of the pom-pom, we just get along. I love hanging with you. And when you hold me so close, dear, my mind gets so
Can you see her? Tiny little speck. Oh, this is a cliff. Hello. That is so cool. Spot the little boat. Wow, I'm totally in love with this island. So tomorrow I'm gonna climb up that, I think. Today I just went over to those palms and then around through this grove where the hut was. There were a lot of mosquitoes. I think all of that white over there is conch shells. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Or maybe right now. This is so crazy. I kind of feel like a dragon on top of my pile of treasure. Like I'm just waiting for someone to come slay me with a sword and take away all of my conch shells or something. It feels very like just this decadent pile of something valuable sitting unprotected by anyone else. Like I totally get why dragons hoard wealth, because it feels really good to sit on top of a pile of all the same thing. I can only imagine gold pieces are a little bit more comfortable than conch shells. The next morning started out rainy, and I was kind of disappointed that I wasn't going to get a chance to explore the rest of the island, but it turns out that after a morning of squalls and collecting lots of delicious rainwater, everything cleared up and I was able to row ashore and see the island anyway. The second day, I hiked up the side of the little hill that was overlooking my boat and got to see the palm beach that I was on yesterday from a height and watch all the beautiful waves crashing in on it. And the fact that there's nothing on it really made me feel like I could pretend that I was in some sort of ancient Caribbean. I can see St. Vincent to the north, Beckway's over there, and then these little islands right here. And I'm the only human on this island. I just can't believe it. It's so cool. I've recently learned through visiting a couple different museums around some of the islands that the oldest evidence of human settlement in the Caribbean was mid-6th millennium BC. So that's like 6,000 BC. There were people living in the Caribbean. Trinidad has one of the oldest records of human activity on it. Basically what would happen is that each wave of invaders would come in and wipe out the people who were living there before them. So it's a little bit hard to get exacts on what their cultures and societies were like. But there were a couple main groups of people who populated the Caribbean. There were the Arawaks and the Caribs. And the Arawaks were the gentle, peaceful people, and the Caribs were a lot more violent, and they sort of came in and conquered a lot of the islands and killed most of the Arawaks, unfortunately. But then you had the Europeans arrive, and they killed the Caribs. And before the Arawaks, there were other natives, so it was just kind of this long cycle of people coming in and wanting to claim these beautiful islands, which is pretty sad. But they've found a bunch of really cool pottery and stone crushing devices, like for crushing grains and stuff. Well, I think we can all predict which way the prevailing winds come from. So after doing some Google research, I discovered that Petit Nevis was a whaling station back in the late 1800s, and it remained a working site as late as 1993 when the last 2 whales were caught and processed there. Since it's so close between Beckway and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but it's remote, it was a really good location for people to process whale. I spent the rest of that day poking around Petit Nevis, and then when the sun started to get ready to set, I headed back to my little boat. I had an early morning the next morning. I was gonna head back to Beckway and do some chores before heading further south in the Grenadines. I had a beautiful sunrise departure. Since it was pretty light wind and just a little 4-mile downwind run, I was lazy and only raised the head sail. because when it's light wind like that, all the main will do is just block the wind from the head sail, and then it doesn't stay full and it gets annoying. I could have put out a whisker pole, but you know what? I was lazy, and that is fine. I was still going about 4 knots, so that was all I needed. I got caught in a funny little squall and got a nice little sun shower with a rainbow right as the sun had risen over the mountains of Beckway. It was just a really beautiful morning and a really nice sail. Everything was mellow. The wind was mellow, the squall was mellow, the rain was mellow. Happy Monday! Thanks for watching this week. I put out new videos every Monday. Thank you to all of my patrons who are supporting me on Patreon and helping to make what I do possible. If you're interested in supporting me on Patreon, it's patreon.com/windhippie. I've also included a link of it in the description of this video below, so if you're more of a link clicker, that is the description for you. If you want to know where I am in real time as opposed to video time, you can follow me on Instagram. @BoatLizard is my little Instagram name, and I usually post a couple photos a week, and I'm having fun with the stories. Recently, I've been bringing my phone out with me when I explore towns and snapping shots of what I see there and sharing it up on that. So if you're interested in any of those things, feel free to give me a follow. Obviously, I appreciate it on there as well. Thank you, Tish, for continuing to upload these videos for me. It makes my life so much easier. In the Caribbean, there's not a reliable way to upload videos at a certain time and day, so I kind of do it opportunistically, and then Tish will upload them from Dropbox, which is where I put them onto YouTube. The other cool thing about Dropbox, if any of you guys are struggling with uploading something with an intermittent connection, is that Dropbox allows for starts and stops in your upload, whereas YouTube and Google Drive both will restart the whole upload if the connection jumps for a second. And it took me a while to figure that one out. My brother helped me there. But it's a really awesome way to upload something if you have a poor connection, so I would recommend that for sure. So for those of you who are wondering, I was in the south of Grenada when Dorian passed by the southern Caribbean, but it wasn't a big deal. It didn't even hit the south of Grenada at all. We had negative wind, actually. It was probably like 0 to 5 knots all day. You could watch the wind direction slowly shift around as the storm passed. Normally it's usually from the east or the southeast, but we watched it go kind of 360 degrees from the east to the north, and then all the way around back until it was from the southeast again, and that was sort of the only indication of the storm passing. And I'm just happy that I made my schedule so that I was down here for this time of year, because this is exactly what I was worried about. The song that I played for the Exploring the Island sequence is actually a song that I wrote and recorded when I was in college. I was not intending to do a song for this week's video, but when I was reviewing the footage today, Sunday, because I always do my videos on Sunday nights because I'm a procrastinator, I realized that a lot of the footage kind of needed a song to go along with it. So I was trying to find something easy, and then I rediscovered this song I wrote when I was probably 20. So I thought I'd throw it in there. It's Young Holly. Thank you guys for watching again, and for all your really nice comments. I really like to read them. And if you're in the path of this hurricane, I hope that you stay safe, and if you have boats in that area, I don't know, sink them or something. I'm not an expert on that. Probably don't listen to me. Okay, bye!